This video shows staff how to use the damaged item procedures and focuses on situations dealing with problem items where 2 or more CCS libraries are involved. A patron returns an item to your library damaged. What are your next steps? If the item belongs to you, follow local practice for managing the damaged item. But if the item belongs to a different library, you may need to take specific actions in LEAP depending on the situation. The damaged item procedures page includes instructions and a chart to help you determine what workflow to use. For most situations, procedures will involve 3 major steps. First, contact the patron. Second, apply the charges to the patron's account. Third, if needed, update the item's circulation status. Here are 2 examples of the workflow for damaged items where 2 or more CCS libraries are involved. In our first example, a book was returned in our book drop that's water damaged and cannot be circulated. This book is from a different CCS library. It's currently still checked out to a patron. We will look at the circulation tab in the item record to see who it is checked out to and where it was checked out from. Let's check the documentation to see what workflow to use. Per the chart, since the item does not belong to my library, was not checked out at my location, but is checked out to my patron, we will look at the workflow in section B. This section gives instructions based on if you're certain you cannot circulate the item versus if you're unsure if the level of damage is acceptable. As I said earlier, it's completely damaged, and so we will look at the procedures in section B1. Because it will be fully out of circulation, my library can follow local procedure for contacting the patron. When ready, we can declare this item damaged to apply the charges. The owning library will see this item listed in next month's Lost, Missing, Damaged web report. Let's look at another example together. In this example, a Blu-ray from another library was returned to my location. The disc is scratched, but I'm unsure if the owning library will accept it back or not. Since my library uses a sorter, the item is already checked in off the patron's record. Looking at the item record circulation tab, I see it was last checked out to my patron and that it was checked out at my location. Again, per the chart, we will look at the workflow in section B. This time, we will reference the instructions for what to do if you're unsure of the level of damage. To start, notify the patron as per your local procedure. Next, we will contact the owning library. I'm going to send an email and attach an image of the item. The owning library responds back and says they will not be able to accept the item. We will notify the patron, apply the charges to their record, and update the item's circulation status using one of the Declare Damaged workflow options. While the damaged item procedures attempt to cover as many situations as possible, there may be situations that don't entirely fit these guidelines. In those cases, work with the item's owning library to determine the best course of action. If you have questions, please email help@ccslib.org.